Welcome, Exec Committee. Morning, Katie. How are you?
Good morning, Nick. I'm good. How are you doing today?
I'm doing all right. And Kay, how are you?
I'm good.
So if this thing works like it's supposed to, Kay, you got 3 more of these meetings.
Yep.
But who's counting? You know,
Uh-huh.
yeah. So, and you got Tanya and Colette. We're there, and we're leaving you out of that discussion because we don't want there to be any end in sight for you all doing these meetings. That would be
That's
a
right.
bad thing. That
We're
would be
going
a bad
nowhere.
thing. Good. And Ian has still got his bicycle back there, so the world's okay. All right. So what do we gotta do on an agenda? Tanya, have you got a draft or
You know,
or you want
I will just, no, well, I do. I've got a list of what's on there, but I completely flaked on sending anything to you this week. So what I have is the re-revised demo by neglect policy, rezoning case follow-ups again. We're just going to have that on there every time now. A draft of the annual report.
Is there anything under zoning follow-up?
I mean, there are no new cases to come back. We will, so yesterday at City Council, the zoning on Morgan behind IMAPs, not IMAPs, good grief, the IMAX, Marbles IMAX. That was approved unanimously by City Council, and the Bloodworth Street one across from Prince Hall, that one was held, and it'll be going back to City Council in 2 weeks. It was held for new conditions. I did not listen to the meeting on Tuesday, but if there's any more information, we'll let you know. Let's see. I don't think we have any new cases to be heard. Nope. Okay, I didn't think so. Kay, you'll bring forward the slate of officers so that it can be voted on in May. And I'm going to share that there's the state is putting out something called a Building Block Series, educational webinars that you can learn about. And then the committee reports, unless there's something I've forgotten.
No, but we can, and maybe we can pick up on the discussion of person power or whatever that we had yesterday in the Dix meeting about trying to build out people from the extra nominations that we have for the open slots on here. Kay and I ended up with a lot of nominees, a lot of people wanting to do it and not self-nominating or whatever. And so we can have some discussion about how we need to take advantage of these people that are interested and plug them into, plug some of them into every committee that we have. And that would include the ad hoc committees on Dix or the Lustron or whatever, to try to build out our pool of talent. And then let's see, Tanya, we probably need to talk about the coordination with the museum and that piece, because it came up in the Dix thing too, as to how to have input on things, and we were talking about how they seemed inclined to go to Ernie as their first resource or whatever, and we need to try to get Ian involved in that, and the commission more generally involved in that, since we're carrying more history around than Ernie in some ways. So maybe we need to use this opportunity to try to cement some of those ideas among the other people on the commission to help downrange or whatever. So that was pretty good. What about Katie? What are y'all going to want to talk about?
You say Kay or Katie?
I said Katie.
Okay.
That would be you. Take one more swig of coffee.
All right. Yeah, I don't have any new business on the treasury side.
What about what do y'all know anything more about what's going on with the community awareness?
I'm not on that committee, so I'm not totally plugged into what's going on.
Okay, great.
I think Aaron can report on that.
Yeah, there was some more email traffic on that, and some more ideas there. And has the committee vetted any of that stuff?
Their meeting this week was mostly tossing around all of the ideas. I don't think they've narrowed down on one in particular just yet. For Raleigh History Month / Preservation Month, we're in Raleigh History Month now. May is Preservation Month. They're talking about some sort of Raleigh history trivia event in any. There's lots of forms that could happen that could just be over our existing social media over the course of the month, or they might try to plan a one-time event. We haven't gotten much further than that, other than that we need to think about where to go. There's also been talk about potentially trying to do a time capsule for 2020, which Tanya helpfully reminded us of the RHDC's mission. So we have to think about if that actually plugs into what we're doing. But I do know Heather's reached out to Ernie potentially to figure out how we can collaborate with them on that. And I think his initial question is, where will it go? Which we had discussed on Tuesday that it would go with them is probably the best option. So that needs more discussion too. Yeah, and that's where we are. The card event went well. They're thinking about trying to do that again throughout the year as well. It was just a lot of brainstorming. But there is potential to plug in volunteers with whatever happens from that docket.
Is any of that, in your judgment, going to require board action? Are we just going with ratification, or if we're going to be approving things that are going to be blamed on everybody, then we probably need to be prepared to bless them tomorrow, since we're in the middle of it.
Yeah, there was something yesterday that we had discussed needed to go to the full commission. Well, that was research. Let me see if there was something from community awareness. They were mostly trying to figure out what their next events would be and how they could use social media. With the 60th anniversary coming up, specifically in December, they kind of pushed worrying about that in favor of History and Preservation Month. But it sounded like they're hopeful that there could be some kind of pop-up event or in-person event for the 60th. That would be something we need to talk with the commission about.
Yeah, so
Go ahead.
I was going to say for this month, it's just going to be completely social media, sharing the events that are already happening through the museum, and then adding a little bit of, sharing the event and saying, and did you know that what they're talking about is also a landmark, or whatever the case may be. I think she should, if she doesn't bring up the time capsule, which I'm sure she will, that getting a vote or ratification from the commission that pursuing that is something you want to be interested is probably a good idea, since that would be a bigger collaboration potentially. So
Yeah. Okay. Ian, what about you?
Usual business, usual updates. Tanya, remind me, it's early. Remind me what we were gonna bring to the commission as a whole.
Oh, it had to do with the concept of an African American Studies Committee or something like that,
Oh,
to help with the update for the architectural survey focusing on Black history, and the idea, and we're actually having a special sort of brainstorming meeting later in the week of the business meeting. So I think on the 22nd,
Yeah.
to come up with an idea. But what was discussed was connecting with people to be able to connect with other people to find out what else is out there to help make sure that we're hearing from the community. So it's very early.
Okay. Tanya, this thing about having some kind of better relationship or more broader relationship with Ernie's crowd and that sort of thing sort of ties back to our discussions over a number of years about what kind of liaison we ought to be trying to have, whether we're talking about the music, that Mordecai group, or which ties in with Ernie as well.
Yeah. So I met with Ernie a couple weeks ago now, just to follow up on some things and connect, and we're going to continue to do that more often at the staff level. I think one of the challenges right now and is figuring out and still how to find out or be in the loop on events before they happen, so that we can, collaborate or share or coordinate on them. I was going to meet yesterday, but now it's today, meeting with Troy Burton, who is the manager for historic, anyway, to just sort of a touch base see where things are. So that is not forgotten.
Yeah, I think it would be, I think that would be good. And all that time I was over there on Troy's group, they talked about the whole time, but how to get that to work, and maybe it ends up being the committee assignment for somebody, rather, because a lot of our folks are sort of met out, because if they're on the COA, they already got a load, and several of these committees end up being right much work in and of themselves. And then if you end up on the exec committee, you got that one as well. So you start scratching your head at the thought of adding another meeting to your calendar. But what we needed, and I guess what I ought to point out, it may be that Heather's and the community group here has, maybe they've generated some of this interest that's produced these additional potential nominees for the nomination committee too, because it's brought some of this to the fore. And so there may be some in a feedback loop as a way to know that it must be working, because we've got more people interested. So, okay. What else? Anything? Colette, is that a piece of a step ladder back there behind you? It is.
Yes, it
Right,
is.
good.
Yes, it is.
I need to bring you all a picture. I have completed restoring. I know we could leave now, and I got another Zoom meeting pretty soon myself. But I've completed restoring a Flexi Racer, Flexy racer. That was my favorite childhood toy. That it was a hand-me-down from my older brothers, and so it goes back to the 1930s. And I guess the thesis was that somebody in Philadelphia figured out that people in the South weren't going to have that much use for flexible flyer sleds, because we didn't get that much snow. And created this toy, which had wheels about 8 inches across, 7 inches maybe. And the things would just fly. And of course, Consumer Product Safety Commission and mothers of small children would be aghast at the idea. There were no helmets, there was no nothing, but they did have brakes. And but really good ball bearings, and the wheels weren't quite as big as those soapbox derby wheels. But anyway, I've completed the thing. I need to take a picture and brag because I'm going to hang it in the screen porch. I had to consult with my brothers on what was your earliest memory of what that thing looked like before you guys undertook to paint it so badly the way you did. But anyway, so we probably all got projects going in the midst of the pandemic that we might not have had otherwise. But I should share a picture if I can remember to take one. I can at least hold it up tomorrow. Or
Please do.
at the business meeting. So yeah, it just looks really darn good. My father ran over it one time because he had a hard and fast rule that you did not leave toys in the driveway. And so he ran right over it. And but it was sort of a tough love thing, but it became our wintertime project one winter to rebuild the flexi that he had run over and that I had left in the driveway, and it became our joint project. And so I'm acutely aware of how that wood came to look just like it does now. But anyhow, so that's a little bit of what's going on. And I want to tell you one more thing. You guys, I'm so thankful to be able to be in a younger gathering like you all. Maybe you don't feel that young this morning, but believe me, you are. I went to my investment club for the first time in a year last night, and I'm the youngest. And as they went around the room to talk about what had gone on in their life in the last year, and this one's spouse is in a wheelchair, this one's got Parkinson's, this one's got cancer 2 or 3 places, and I'm coming out of there thinking, I don't know how many of these meetings I can handle, you know. So it's just nice to see. And so Julia says, we've got to start making younger friends. That's all there is to it. So she's right. So you all are supposed to develop older friends until you hit age 40. And then you're supposed to start focusing on younger friends so that you can be ahead of the game. So there's a thought for the day for you right there. Okay.
I like it.
All right. Y'all have a good day of it, and thanks for your time here. We'll see you later.